It looked like it was going to happen again. With just seconds left, Jack Higgins' hook kick, almost in slow motion, just crossed the back of the goal line to put St Kilda in front. Carlton players and fans couldn't believe it when the final siren went. It was only 2 seasons before that Jamie Elliott and Collingwood came back from 4 goals down at 3/4 time in the final round of that year to make top 4, and at the same time knock the Blues out of finals. Even Brian Taylor in commentary repeatedly yelled that Carlton were out of the finals, but they weren't. It was as if everyone forgot there was still 1 game left. Fremantle fans were cheering as Higgins kicked that goal, but a few hours later, they were the ones feeling empty and shattered at the end of their team's season. Thanks to Port Adelaide, where Michael Voss was a long-time assistant under Ken Hinkley, the Blues are in finals, but now have the daunting task of heading to Brisbane to face the Lions. Right now, Carlton are by far the biggest long shots to win in week 1 of the finals. However, this pre-finals bye at least gives them a shot, and they should get a number of their superstars back. Harry Mackay, who had a quad injury, and Charlie Curnow, who hurt his ankle, should both be ready to play. It allows Brodie Kemp to move back in defence, and if you cast your mind back to opening round, where Carlton came from nowhere to beat Brisbane, Curnow kicked 4 and Mackay kicked 3, causing Brisbane's defence trouble. Mitch McGovern, Adam Cerra and Jack Martin might be fit, although the latter 2 may not even get into the team. It's the other 2 wins that might be significant in their own way. Tom De Koning would be the wildcard player for Carlton. He would still likely share the ruck with Pitnet due to him missing so much football, but at his best, he's dynamic. He can win clearance himself, is mobile around the ground, and during his month-long hot patch, he was the highest rated player in the competition. Sam Docherty would be a possible emotional lift. It's a big risk, but what do Carlton have to lose? He has shown before he can play off short preparation and can fill a position in the midfield or in defence. He tore his ACL against Brisbane in opening round, and to return against them in a final would be some story. The Blues could regain 4 to 6 first choice players, and that always gives you a shot to win. The other glass half empty view is Carlton are really no shot. Not just because most of their team is banged up with injury and they're rushing to get players back, but because of their actual form. In their last 8 games, they have won just 2. They beat North Melbourne in round 19 by 19 points in a battle at Marvel Stadium, and the other victory was against West Coast at Optus Oval in round 23. That West Coast win was impressive with the personnel they had, but in hindsight, it did look like the Eagles had half checked out and were thinking about their off-season holidays. Statistically, Carlton give up the 3rd most points from stoppages, only North and West Coast are worse, and their defending from inside 50 throw-ups or boundary throw-ins is still the worst in the AFL, despite it being put on notice numerous times. As much as Brisbane's defence will be tested with Mackay and Curnow, the Blues have serious worries themselves against one of the most potent forward 50s in the competition, both in the air and on the ground. Brisbane are big favourites and should be. It does feel like if Carlton get some of their players back, they will have a boost, but they will need the Lions to shoot themselves in the foot multiple times to get the upset win. Carlton overcame a 46-point deficit at the Gabba in opening round, which was a miracle in itself, and to do it again will take a memorable performance from the team.
Disappointment. Yeah, I feel like it's right now I feel like it's a massive opportunity lost. Feel disappointed for our fans. They showed up amazingly today and supported us to the line, and I just couldn't get it done when it mattered most. So it's disappointed and feel like
the get out of jail free card for Carlton was at the expense of Fremantle. It's not the end of the world, but as Justin Longmuir said himself, it is a missed opportunity to at least get another game of finals experience into this young side. To the round 24 game itself, the polish and class of the two teams was clearly the difference. Disposals, clearances, contested marks and other stats were similar. Especially in the final quarter, the ball handling and skill areas of Fremantle stood out. They couldn't handle Port Adelaide's heat, which was incredibly strong. It ended up being their fourth loss in a row, and such a promising 3 quarters of 2024 was blown up in such a short period of time. Not all of the fall away has been their fault. That round 21 game against Essendon was the beginning of the end. Sean Darcy pulled out with a knee complaint and never returned, while Josh Tracy in the same game suffered a PCL injury. Then their captain Alex Pearce's arm, which fractured again in his return in round 19, saw him miss the year. It's the spine of the team and takes away a fullback, ruckman and big key forward. If you took that away from any other AFL club, I guarantee they would struggle. It's why losing by 11 points to Geelong, 9 to GWS away from home and 20 to Port Adelaide isn't too bad. Even without 3 key players, they were more than competitive, and even if they could have just drawn that Essendon game, they would be the ones heading to the Gabba instead of Carlton. The club is still in a strong position and should be able to get in Shai Bolton, who performs great in good teams, and maybe Liam Baker, although he still looks likely to nominate West Coast as his preferred Western Australian club. If Keziah Pickett requests a trade from Melbourne, it's reported at the time of making this, Fremantle would be the club he would most like to join. But a lot of the growth next year and beyond will be internal. They look light on a key forward, but Tracy has solved that, and if you look on paper, most of the team is stocked with good players who fit their positions. Now some have questioned Longmuir's coaching, but at their best and fully healthy, Fremantle were exciting to watch and could put a score on the board. From all of the sides sitting outside the top 8, Fremantle would have to be the team most likely to jump in 2025, even above an ageing Collingwood. But in the present day, all eyes will be on what Carlton can muster up against Brisbane on Saturday night. Their form in the past 2 months has been poor, but maybe the inspirational return of a handful of players might give them a kickstart. It has shades of the Western Bulldogs in 2016, who had key players come back with help from the bye, and with all the pressure on Brisbane, it freely allows Michael Voss and his team to attack the game with no fear.